The college football breakdown.
What
You're
a
ready for that
weekend in
That was
college
one of your best
football.
ones yet.
He was.
Whiskey.
He was gearing up for it. Whiskey makes.
I feel like we take turns being, other than Muff,
3-0 Chiefs.
other than Muff, we take turns being the drunk one.
Yeah. Which one drinks on Sunday nights?
Which one drinks on?
It's never Muff.
Never Muff.
There's too much on the back end of this process that allows me to.
That golf season's winding down, so he's not necessarily out there all the time.
In college football, I'll do the top 25. Jim takes the Big 10. Alex does the Big 12.
Yep.
Nate, if you're aware of any officiating things throughout all of this, toss them in. I think we have at least one to chat about.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least break down a little bit farther. In college football, number 1 Tennessee can't muster up the offense they've been blessed with this season as number 3 Georgia makes their case for the number 1 spot, beating the Volunteers 27-13.
It has nothing to do with Tennessee. They came out there and played grown-ass NFL team Georgia. Holy hell.
There was a text message exchange at some point throughout Saturday that was alluding to that Georgia just looked like an aggressive machine.
Oh, man. They should just give them the title now. And I hate saying that, but just give them the title now.
Yeah, I think Georgia played with a chip on their shoulder, too.
Yeah. Tennessee had talked enough shit.
Yeah. Oh, we're the defending champs. You're going to rank us number 3 in the first college football playoff. And all this about Tennessee, blah, blah, blah. We'll show you the number 1 team.
I mean, they just dog whooped all over them.
Unranked Notre Dame and their top 5 mascot upsets number 4 Clemson 35-14 in a game where the Tigers were never really in this.
Touchdown, Jesus, baby. Sorry, Dabo. Go home.
I have a real hard time ever rooting for Notre Dame, but I kind of did in this one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. This is good stuff. This is good poop.
So
WVU backdoor into the college football playoffs now.
What?
I just wanted to see if Jim would react.
Like I did math in my head going, huh?
So Jim, if this version of Notre Dame was playing Ohio State, what type of game you think we'd have saw week 1?
A lot closer.
Right. It's definitely a different team.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody can debate that. I do not know if they would have been able to beat Ohio State, but I think it would have been a competitive game.
I will say this, and I will say this openly. Mind you, I have been drinking. I believe that Notre Dame will be a force to reckon with next year. I think that coaching staff understands the assignment and is putting in the work with those guys. I think it's going to be a great team next year.
See, with college football, that's like the only sport that 1 or 2 losses just completely derails your season.
Yeah.
So if you don't get started off on the right foot in college football, you might as well just kiss the season goodbye.
Yep. But we won't let them train with their coaches and staff like throughout certain parts of the year. Anyway.
Jim digresses. Number 10 LSU hosts number 6 Alabama, where Brian Kelly, confirmed no longer an idiot, goes for 2 on the first possession of overtime to win 32-31 in Saturday primetime action.
I will say he's not an idiot. However, I will say he's very lucky. Because if he doesn't get that 2-point conversion, I'm sitting there going, he's an idiot. You know what I mean? That was a 50-50 shot, which is typical when you make that kind of decision. So he looks like a genius right now. And his team did handle Alabama quite well. And he did not James Franklin the situation. So good for him for not making any dumb decisions. But he is capable of making really stupid decisions.
Suck that tiger. Phallic symbol. Nate, in this game, there was a lengthy discussion and a lot of good breakdown in the live television about a call towards the end of this game.
Mm-hmm. So for those of you who didn't catch the game, Alabama, I think it was their tight end.
Yeah.
Makes the receptions going down the sideline, gets stripped, and the ball's loose from the ground. LSU's player attempts to dive on top of it, almost has it. And the ball, again, he doesn't have full possession, full control of it. And the Alabama player, whose, I think, left foot or maybe both feet were out of bounds, touching the ground, comes in and knocks the ball ever so slightly out of his hand. And I think it was Matt Austin was right on it with Herb Street and Fowler. It goes, oh, that's going to be fumble, ball out of bounds. It's going to stay Alabama ball after LSU clearly recovered it.
Because
when any player touches the ball out of bounds, with any body part out of bounds, that ball is therefore out of bounds. Because if you remember back a couple years ago, I think it was a Packer game, maybe it was even Randall Cobb back in his first stint with them, and the ball gets kicked towards the sideline, and he goes and steps on the sideline, and lays down, and then touches his hand on the ball. There goes the flag, kick out of bounds. So the ball doesn't have to physically be out of bounds because it's touching a player who's out of bounds, which basically puts the ball out. It's the same thing whenever you go to catch it. If your foot's out and you touch it, ball's out of bounds. So it's no different for a kick. It's no different for a fumble.
So
you know what? I love that right there. No different than a kick. I love that. What I want to do is clip that and send it to my father because I had mistakenly forgot that my father is up and I needed to like call him for something else. And I called him. I said, "Hey, what are you doing?" He goes, "Did you see that call?" I said, "Yeah." And then we started arguing. I was like, "That's the rules." So I'm really glad that you explained it. If you catch it out of bounds, the same as if. Thank you. That's all that matters.
So interesting. This came up today in the NFL as well. So something I don't recall seeing for ever. I don't recall seeing it ever. It doesn't mean I haven't seen it. Happened today. I believe it was in the Bills-Jets game. All the same, and it was explained the same way. So it was just interesting. I saw it two days in a row. Whenever I hadn't seen it ever.
It kind of reminds me. It reminds me of the rules of basketball. Like if I'm dribbling down the sideline and I step out, I'm out. The ball doesn't have to go out.
Yeah.
Now soccer is different. Soccer you can be out of bounds and kick the ball as long as the ball itself doesn't go out of bounds.
Yes.
Fun fact.
Number 8, Oregon and Bo Nix continue their resurgence after a blowout Week 0 loss to Georgia, handling Colorado 49-10.
It's Colorado.
Yeah, it's Colorado.
Yeah, Bo Nix having a good season right now.
I saw something about him being up there for like potential Heisman talk. I'm like, I don't know if I buy that.
You got shut out by Georgia. You don't no.
I don't think he's bad or anything. I just don't really necessarily see that's a little.
I don't know how anybody looks past that. I mean, that's the whole issue with Oregon. Nobody can look past that ass whooping by Georgia.
That's it. Number 9, USC survives a late comeback from Cal, winning 41-35.
Kind of figured this would be a dogfight. This is exactly how I thought it would turn out.
You did say that when we were trying to say that.
Yeah.
I think Cal scored 17 unanswered points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
I think that's how it came to be.
Yeah, that's why USC is not going to go anywhere. I mean, you're letting these teams that have no business hanging around with you back in the game. It's like it's going to come back to bite you, and you got to play Oregon or whoever like later in that Pac-12 championship game.
I did see, we'll get to this in the rankings, but I did see there's a lot of shit talking on the Pac-12, but I don't think Cal's a bad team. They have had some major losses. I think the Pac-12 is full of a lot more talent, and they beat each other up, much like the Big 12. You're welcome, Alex. I'm drinking. Where they got good teams, but they're beating each other up.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, it's just a well-rounded conference. There's not like a true.
Yeah, it's not the SEC and Big 10,
mm-hmm.
where it's like you're either shit or you're elite. They're two good conferences.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, you got those two teams are like or right on the cusp there. I mean,
yeah.
Utah, Oregon, USC, and even now UCLA. You got four teams there that are flirting right there with being the next big team in the conference. But like we just said, it's just so competitively balanced right now.
Yep.
Number 12, UCLA, speaking of Pac-12, gets a win over Arizona State, 50-36.
It's a good win.
Wins a win. Number 14, Utah stays in the Pac-12 race, beating Arizona 45-20. Keeping in mind, Utah only has one Pac-12 loss.
So with these last 3 games, my wife says last night, who the hell are these teams? Like I don't remember who the Pac-12 school was, and I had to be like, sweetheart, where are these teams located? I said, that's why we don't know that. We don't pay attention to them because we're asleep.
That's it. North Carolina suffers their first loss of the season, losing to Virginia 31-28.
Ugh, vomit. Cost me money. Did not see this happening. Virginia, if you remember this, all four of us, when we do our bowl pick 'em, if Virginia gets bowl eligible, they're sneaky.
Sneaky. Number 19, Tulane beats Tulsa 27-13.
It's a good win for them, I think. From what I understand of their conference, it's a good win.
Yeah, I think Tulsa's maybe the only real competitor for them.
Yeah.
That's what it appears.
Pitt piles on the Syracuse woes, beating them 19-9.
Yeah, that's what gets me off.
Let's go, Pitt.
Eat shit, Pitt.
Syracuse lost 3 in a row after a 6-0 start.
Syracuse still gonna be Syracuse.
Yeah, get the carrier done right for basketball.
True story. Number 22, NC State ekes out a victory over number 21, Wake Forest, 30-21.
Wake Forest is they're now going to be out of existence. They'll be bowl eligible though, right?
Yeah.
They already are.
Yeah, so we'll see them in some BS bowl.
How is this eking out a win?
I think there's a last second situation there.
Yeah, there was.
I just don't consider 9 points an eke. But
All right, Alex.
I just am saying, I think it's not eking
Hey,
out.
go
Coming
back.
down on Muff. Why don't you
Go-
write the notes?
Go back to your notes. Go back to your notes, Alex.
Yeah, go write your own notes.
Use the word eke appropriately in your notes.
Good grief.
All of us
Never-
have to work.
Number 20. Do you work at all tomorrow?
I'll write that.
Number 23, Oregon State loses one in Husky Stadium to Washington, 24-21.
Yeah, good. It's about time. They need to be put in their place.
Newcomer at number 25, UCF continues their winning ways, beating Memphis 35-28.
I feel like they're the first 25 of new 25 in a while. Rank.
Yeah.
Good job, UCF.